the other day. Somebody was like, "Hey, are you ready for Nightfall scoring next week, TBL?" And I'm like,
Lol, what?
"Wait, Faction Rally Tuesday? Is this happening now?" And I could have sworn that was like the 27th, because it was like the 27th of February. One update's coming out, and then the 27th of March, the update we care about is coming out. Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit spooked that it might have been going live earlier in the month, but no, it's definitely next Tuesday. I'm looking right now. Yeah, excellent. That means another week of uninterrupted Monster Hunter World, and we're live. So welcome, everyone.
Hello.
To episode 153 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We're back once again to talk goings-on in the world of Destiny. That world, like, at least 15 of you are playing.
Oh my god.
At least.
So it begins.
Welcome back,
2 minutes
everybody.
into the podcast, and we got the solid roasting going on.
Hey man, I had to stop playing Monster Hunter World to come do this show. You just got to take salty TBL. I'm like salted, well-done steak that my cats cook so perfectly in that game. There's no well-done steak in Destiny 2.
No.
There's not even like a medium well steak in Destiny 2. I can't even get rare meat in Destiny 2. Objectively a worse game than Monster Hunter World.
Some jerky.
We can't. How many cats are in Destiny 2? Count them.
There's one.
Is there one?
Yeah, there is one in the tower. Mm-hmm.
There is a cat. Okay, well, Destiny 2 has one cat. That knocks it up on the review listing. But welcome back. We are your roundtable of hosts. We have got Miss Moonvault here. And her cat. See, she's got a cat. That puts her...
She's hanging out.
There you go. She's cooler than Destiny 2. Mr. Nim Plays. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guy?
Another great week, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Filled with nothing but hunting monsters adventures.
I mean, hey, it's a good game. It's a good game, and I'm glad you're playing it.
Heck yeah.
Welcome back, Hunter. Welcome back. Yes. And I am the Black Link, and we're going to try not to talk too much about Monster Hunter World this week. I think we did that on like the last show or whatnot. Destiny 2 things. It's been kind of a week in Destiny 2, hasn't it? We had a little bit of a Valentine's Day event going on, like the smoothness of that 60 FPS heart.
Oh yes,
I got you, baby. I know. Crimson Doubles. Anybody here been playing it?
I've been playing a lot of it. Yes.
Yeah, I've been playing some
enjoying
Crimson
it
Doubles
quite thoroughly.
Oh, why don't you let us know what you guys' experience with it was, or is, or shall be?
I like the buffs that you get. I feel like that's my favorite part because it puts you a little bit closer to getting that feeling of being powerful and like an actual guardian that you had in D1. But yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, if they bring forward the changes they say they're bringing forward, that if it compares to what Crimson Doubles is, I'm pretty excited and optimistic for it.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting... Well, before Nim goes in, I saw this really interesting conspiracy theory that was like, Crimson Doubles, man. It's a test. They're testing Guardians. It's Bungie, man. They're putting something in the water, man. But just that they're testing to see how the player base reacts to faster cooldowns in PvP to kind of maybe do a little bit of beta testing for how they're going to be tuning things in the sandbox update we're getting a month or so from now. And whatever conspiracy theory, I don't care. If it gives me faster cooldowns, I'll take it. I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
It's been fun for sure. It's been a lot of fun. I love Burnout. The Burning Shrine revamp is fantastic. So it's good to see that classic come back. And being able to to have your grenades more often, and the movement speed, you get the movement speed buff whenever your friend dies, and it feels good. It feels nice.
It's quick.
I'm hoping that's kind of like what we see with that future update, because it's the grenades. Not as not as much, because there's been a lot of hunters using and abusing their Shinobu's Vow. We're seeing that old D1 habits coming back into play. So but no, other than that, it's been a lot of fun. I'm loving the the close quarters, being able to you actually can manage a 1v2 from time to time, depending. But it's been really good. It's been really fun.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, the Crimson Doubles, the Crimson Days event is going on in Destiny 2 right now, and it brings with it the Crimson Doubles game mode, which is a 2v2 game mode that has a pretty interesting stipulation. If you're standing near your fire team member, you basically get a buff that decreases your cooldowns on your ability. So your grenade, your melee, your ability, they all come back faster. If your teammate dies, you get a very quick agility and movement buff. You get to zip on out of there with the greatest of ease. And if you separate from your fire team member, the further away you get, the slower your abilities cool down. And if you get too far away, you start popping up like a sore thumb on your enemy's radar so they can find you a little bit easier. So the game mode's kind of all about staying together and holding hands with your fire team member. And I gotta admit, when I read it, I thought, okay, so this is gonna be basically Team Shot the game mode. And to be perfectly fair, it is Team Shot the game mode.
Yeah, it is.
But I didn't find myself, this sounds terrible, I didn't find myself hating it. Like, I played it when it first came out, and I've enjoyed it in the days since. I actually played some Destiny 2 PvP this week, and a lot of it was Crimson Doubles. And yeah, it didn't feel too bad at all. I kind of like the overall kind of sweatiness of it. I enjoy being able to utilize my abilities. You know, I primarily play Warlock, so I was, in a lot of matches, I was just kind of playing Medic. Like my teammate was a Slayer. I was just following him. Anytime he got low, boom, there's a rift. Oh, take this Arc Soul. Oh, somebody come around the corner? Don't worry, Pulse Nade. That'll keep him busy for just a second. Heal up. Go do your thing. Yeah. And it's a pretty interesting game mode. I do like the faster cooldowns. I will agree, Hunters, with the skip nades, y'all need to quit. Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah.
And I
can help.
Let's see if anybody else ran into this. Night Stalkers throwing smoke bombs that show up on your radar and spook you.
And then you wondering why there's 3 people in the 2v2.
Yeah, that got me a couple times.
My brain did that a couple times for sure.
Yeah.
And we got to touch up on the subject. Meanwhile, this is part of Crimson Days.
Yeah.
The reward system has been updated, and Crimson Days should be the whatchamacallit, it should be the standard at how the featured events should behave like.
Absolutely.
So, you know, previously with the Dawning, every time you leveled up, you simply got your illuminated engram. You had to get your themed engram from Tess. And you know, that was straight up by buying silver and purchasing the engrams then, or you can do like the milestone. You know, and that gave you at most 3 engrams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Crimson Days, the way they changed it is that basically all you got to do is just play the game, whether if it's Crimson Doubles or if you're doing, you know, public events, because now you get an engram, a Crimson engram every time you level up, which is fantastic, and that's something that I want to see with when Festival of the Lost comes by, so we can stop calling it Festival of the Cost. And the future Dawnings and whatever other events they're gonna bring out.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. We've talked a little bit about this over the week. I do believe that Crimson Doubles is probably the best event they've had in D2 thus far. And a big reason is this new sort of reward system. This, I think they call it like the knockout system, where they kind of do the same thing that the exotic engrams from Xur are supposed to do. They try to prevent giving you duplicate items that you've already earned until you've earned every new item that's available in at least the Crimson engrams. And those Crimson engrams, if you're somebody who's not that big a fan of PvP in Destiny 2, maybe your thing is doing strikes, maybe your thing is running the raid, maybe your thing is just running public events. That's a great way to blow off steam. You can earn the Crimson Doubles special rewards and whatnot playing basically whatever you want. If you just want to go run public events, just go run public events. Every time you level up, you get yourself a Crimson engram that gets you some of the new, you know, emotes and shaders and stuff and whatnot. And I absolutely love that. I absolutely believe that should be the way things go moving forward. And like you said, I think the best example for that is definitely the Dawning. If this had been the way things worked in the Dawning, I would not have complained about the Dawning nearly as much as I did.
Just a little bit.
I would have complained 15% less than I did with the Dawning, because I got basically nothing during that. I played it every day. I did the gifts, the daily gifts, at least almost every day of that event, and that was fine and all. But when it came to like donning armor and whatnot, I got like 2 pieces playing every day for the entirety of that event. It was terrible. And the fact that you know, you could only get those engrams in very certain ways, either by buying them or, you know, by doing the milestones. So when it comes to the way they're doing things now, I would love it if they continue this system moving forward. And I do believe they've gotten a lot of positive feedback for Crimson Doubles, specifically because of the way the rewards work. Now, there are exclusive things that you can only get from the Crimson Doubles playlist, like I think it's the Exotic Sparrow, only drops from the Crimson Doubles playlist. Has anybody gotten it?
The Undeterred,
yeah,
yes.
both.
Yep.
Really? You both got it? Okay, so drops are pretty good. I still haven't gotten it.
They're pretty great.
I still haven't gotten it, but I like to say I was the lucky charm that got it for Blessius. I got you, Bless.
Oh, there you go.
I got you, man. I give. That's all I do. But there are some things that you can only get from running certain things. Like they have 5 or so milestones. One's like run a Nightfall and you get like a ghost or something. One's like run a raid. Yeah, and I love that. They incentivize you to go run that specific content. But if you're somebody who doesn't just want to play the PvP mode, go run strikes. Go run public events, and you'll still get the same rewards. I think that's fantastic.
And you do get some rewards that are exclusive to that as well, because if you do the either the Raid Lair or Leviathan, you do get the ornament for the Wardcliff Coil, which it's the steampunk Wardcliff Coil, but it's not all that too different from the standard Wardcliff Coil. But
it looks a little similar.
Yeah, but you know, the fact is that they're tying a lot of these rewards that in previous events would have been in the Eververse store, as opposed to now you can play the content in the game and earn it just by playing the game. And you know, they are putting some of the stuff on the Eververse store, but for Bright Dust.
Yeah.
And because right now, you know, you're getting double engrams every time you level up, getting Bright Dust has pretty much never been easier. It's incredibly easy to just discard all the ghosts that you don't care about, all the sparrows that you don't care about, get your Bright Dust, and get whatever you're missing, because it does count towards that knockout list.
It does. Yeah. And that's another thing. We can't have a Destiny event where we don't talk about Eververse. And usually Eververse is pretty pervasive in this, but I like what they've done with Eververse here. You can't buy the Crimson Engrams, and that's good on several fronts. Instead, you can buy the non-playlist exclusive stuff from the Eververse store, but you can buy it directly with Bright Dust rather than buying a chance of getting it with a loot box. And I very much prefer just being able to say, okay, I haven't gotten the weird red sparrow yet. Let me just go spend Bright Dust on it and get it that way, rather than buying a loot box that has a chance to give me something I've already gotten 12 copies of. So that gets a thumbs up from me too. Yep. And overall, I think I don't really have too much to complain about with this event. The one probably biggest complaint I would have with Crimson Doubles is that I would love it if events like this moving forward, especially when it comes to Crimson Doubles, I would love it if there was some sort of PvE component to the way that works, because I could just imagine having I can't remember the name of the buff, but the Crimson Doubles buff in Strikes. When reunited, where the 3 of your fire team members are standing together, you're getting those cooldowns back super quickly. And I really don't know why that couldn't have been applied to people who just wanted to play PvE and run strikes and whatnot. But we'll put that on the list of things at least I'd like to see moving forward. The next time they do an event like this, I'd love it if they had a PvE option.
Yeah, because not everybody wants to play PvP. As much as I can't relate, but if Bungie does want to go forward trying to give something for everybody, that would definitely be a good aspect to include. Yeah.
I think it'd be a cool strike modifier. Just it seems like it would have worked perfectly. And just looking at the chat here, Edog Loss, he says, I miss the old Crimson Doubles. That is another thing. I do miss the whole Super Saiyan thing of losing your fire team member and then just
getting that buff.
That was cool. That was I can see why it's not in Destiny 2, but that was cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool looking aura. But yeah, no, it would be awesome to see, some kind of PvE aspect, in Crimson Days going forward. But I still got to give him praise for the whole engram, getting an engram every time, because
so much better.
You're nobody's locked out, and what was it? It's like you just need to be level 20 if you don't have the DLC, and if you have the DLC level 25.
You basically need to have completed the story. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. Good stuff. That's more of that, please.
Please, Bungo.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say overall, Crimson Days. You get a thumbs up from me. There's some things that can be improved there, definitely, but that's true of virtually anything in the world. So, but good job. Moving forward, I'd like to see more of that. Also, Sparrow Racing League.
Yes.
Because there will never not be a time when I don't say that.
Yep.
Please.
I feel that.
I want to go through every podcast and just count how many times TBL asks for Sparrow Racing League to come back in each episode.
It's gonna be a lot, man. Get a whiskey nearby, because you're gonna want to turn it into a drinking game and be dead.
With all these exotic sparrows that we're getting to, whenever we get an SRL, if we get an SRL, it's gonna be super pretty. So many good looking sparrows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed we didn't get Festival of the Lost this year. I realized it was really soon after the game's launch that it would have to have been, but my god.
At the same time that I would have wanted us to get a Festival of the Lost, in retrospect, I'm kind of glad it didn't happen, because look at how the Dawning was. And can you imagine two
with the same
events
model.
like that? Yeah,
For
that
sure.
would have been rough.
Yeah, I mean, I would basically... I guess the Dawning kind of was festival. It had its daily, gift things. It was festival and everything but masks.
Yeah. I miss my
Sans
masks.
Sans masks. Oy. But yeah, so anything else you guys want to say about Crimson Days?
No, good stuff. Had fun with it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. How did we go? How did we get an event titled Crimson Days and not get a crimson ornament?
An ornament for
the crimson.
For the gun.
The gun. The crimson.
Oh, right. I forgot that was a thing.
The Terabad hand cannon.
This awful hand cannon that nobody uses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. Also,
another
Crimson
thing
Devil's armor.
I feel that nobody's mentioned a whole lot, but I really enjoy about Crimson Days currently are Shaxx's voice lines. Oh my god, they are so entertaining.
Who'd have thought that
really happy.
Lord Shaxx was a romanticist?
Of course he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're really great.
Did any of you guys hear the Aphrodite line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, Shaxx. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Him and Aphrodite
What did I
used
miss?
to be
What did I miss?
Need to play more Crimson Dubs, man.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, him and Aphrodite apparently used to be they used to have a partnership. And we know how she likes to throw titans.
Oh.
Hey.
Wait, is that the one where where he mentions that she throws him like a javelin or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a reference to Aphrodite's spear.
Yeah.
Aphrodite's spear is Lord Saladin. But yeah, she likes to throw titans, and some titans like to be thrown.
Oh, Lord.
Kappa.
Lord Shaxx.
Kappa.
I didn't say it. Shaxx did. He said some titans like to be thrown. I'm pretty sure he's talking about himself. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I love the lines there from Lord Shaxx, and I just love to imagine them bringing in Lenny and just having him record all these ridiculous things for events moving forward, and it's just
It's
perfect.
good.
It's perfect.
It's very enjoyable.
But yeah, so that's Crimson Days. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. I think it's been pretty good. Definitely pretty good. I'd like to see it being the standard for events moving forward. But speaking of events moving forward, we've actually got another one starting up this week.
The Faction Rally.
Yeah, we have got the return of Faction Rally. And don't worry, this time they're selling weapons. There's guns. There's new guns in this one. Don't worry, there's actually going to be weapons in this one. They went out of their way to say that. So this information is, of course, coming from the This Week at Bungie that dropped on the 15th last week. Faction Rally is returning next week. The event kicks off, of course, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on February 20th. This time, you can knock out lost sectors as fast as you can kill the bosses with no timers to hold you back. Also, another horse that they got in front of this time. No more Faction Rally lockout. That's not going to be a thing. I think they figured out how to clear instances within the game so that if you leave, you come back, either there's no enemies there or the enemies have respawned and you have to fight them all over again, which is good. Locking people out of content. I understand why they did it, but it did not pan out pretty well last time.
Yeah, it was not the best fix for sure.
Yeah, and it was a harsh timer. It was, 10 minutes? And it reset every time you tried to open a chest. So, like, you had to stop going into lost sectors completely or else... Ooh, yeah, so glad that's not going to be happening anymore. Yeah. But start thinking about which faction deserves your loyalty. New Monarchy has won the last 2 rallies. Can they three-peat? Yes, they can, as long as their shaders are the best. Get good, Dead Orbit. Hold it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I really, really want that Dead Orbit auto rifle.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's got Zen Moment on it.
Well,
and it's one of the faster ones, so.
Well, good, because you can get it this week. That's going to be one of the weapons that's dropping in the faction engrams. And yeah, good God, they really had to get in front of that, and I'm so glad they did, because of course, with the last faction rally a month or so ago, there were no weapons, there were no new guns in the drops, unless you wanted that sidearm. And let's be real, you didn't want that sidearm.
No.
Nobody wanted that sidearm.
But this time around, you're going to have a couple of new guns to get your hands on, as well as the previous victory guns from the last faction rally. The 3 auto rifles, I think it's like the Loquitur 4. I don't remember what the Future Warcult or the Dead Orbit one are, because they didn't win. I only remember winners. Future Warcult. But if you want to get your hands on those will be dropping in the faction engrams. I think the other weapons are like a linear fusion rifle from Dead Orbit, I want to say, because we use those. The Future Warcult, I think it's an Omalon energy hand cannon, and then like a scout rifle for New Monarchy. So
yeah,
new stuff, new things for you guys to earn. Who you pledging to this time?
New Monarchy.
I think I'm probably going to pledge to Dead Orbit too.
What?
I've pledged New Monarchy the past 2 times, and they've won.
Mostly, cheaters!
Listen, mostly for aesthetic purposes, because those ornaments, oh my god, the lion motif on everything was just top notch. But
yeah, it's good.
I want to change. I want something different this time. So I think I'm gonna go Dead Orbit.
Nice. Yeah, again, I'm gonna have at least one character for Dead Orbit just for that auto rifle, but I need them shaders, and I gotta finish the ornament set for some of my other characters for New Monarchy. So. Oh
yeah, because those are going to be available again. That was one of my favorite additions to faction rallies in season 2. The ornament system from last time around. I finished everything except like I think it might have been the helmet for Future Warcult. I think you had to do the Nightfall with like a full set of armor or something like that. So yeah, looking forward to my chance getting that again. One of the pieces of armor had that sort of requirement.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to do all 3. You know, I've got 3 characters. I might as well just go ahead and pick up all 3. I don't know what my composition's going to be though. Because I've got I've got the Dead Orbit armor for Hunter. I've got the New Monarchy armor for Warlock and Titan, and I've got the Future Warcult armor for Titan. I definitely want to get the Future Warcult armor for Hunter because that stuff looks dope. If you guys go to the weekly update, you can take a look at it.
It looks like a classic Destiny Hunter.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
right.
It looks so good. I mean, that's the helmet. I mean, that helmet looks like the helmet that they used in like a lot of their live action trailers.
The commercials, yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. But man, I can't get into that Dead Orbit gear, dude. Like I'm looking at it right now, and it's just I can't do it. It looks too blah for me. And I get it. That's what they're supposed to be, ragtag, like kind of, but I can't get into it.
I will say, at least in my opinion, I think of the 3 factions, they have the most underwhelming ornament. It doesn't really seem to make much of a difference in the base gear versus the ornament gear, which is like, look, we painted over the paint we already had on our faces. Whereas, New Monarchy's
I like that. I don't know. Unpopular opinion, but I do enjoy that.
No, you like what you like. I mean, maybe I'm just too used to like ornament being. You want a lion on your stuff, yo? You like lions on your armor? Boom, lions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the new monarchy ornament is like probably like the one that like changes, and I'm using that word kind of loosely, but it changes the armor like almost entirely.
Yeah,
because it's adding more textures to the actual gear. Because I think the future war cult it's a palette swap, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Because they add the little like the dots on them, but it looks super sleek, and I dig that.
It matches them, yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I'm so glad they're ditching those very vibrant colors.
The bright purple that everybody loves so much.
Orange, yellow, like.
Yeah. This is definitely a smoother color scheme, and it never really made sense because like their area was all like smooth and like white and matte and
futuristic
stuff like. And so it was like, why do you have these weird, ugly clown colors?
Stick out like a sore thumb in their own section.
I mean, yeah, you can keep that color that color scheme for the logo, but like your armor, keep this like cool kind of white dotted motif. I love that for the future war cult.
Yeah, that looks great.
Looks super good.
It does.
I will say, still a far cry away from ornaments in Destiny 1. As Nim takes a sip of water. Hive gear. Smells, and it looks cool.
Waiting for it. I can't wait what they're going to see when they put Strike Loot in for Savathun's song. I'm waiting.
Because that's the thing that's coming. We're getting strike-specific loot, and I think Christopher Barrett he's even been on Twitter in recent weeks talking about how they want to make boss-specific stuff, not just for strikes, but for like for lost sectors, and even for some of like the big named enemies that sometimes pop up in patrol. And I'm like,
oh, really?
Yes, this is what I want.
I love that. Yeah. More of that. Forever that.
Forever.
This. I want this.
Nothing but that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah. But with this faction rally, would you guys like to take a look at some of the reward weapons that the winning faction will be having on sale for everyone?
Yes.
This time around, we have got a new Monarchy Pulse Rifle, a Dead Orbit Pulse Rifle, and in what seems like an obvious swerve towards Bungie trying to tilt people in favor of Future War Cult, we've got a Future War Cult Scout Rifle. Yeah, I'm catching your shenanigans, Cosmo. I saw that link to the cat in the TWAB. I saw that there. I know you want Future War Cult to win. I'm on to you. Yeah, kind of interesting that we're going to be getting 2 pulses and a scout rifle this time around. I looked at the stats of these before we went live. I think the scout rifle is like a high impact frame one, so it's a heavy hitter. The pulse rifle I think is I want to say it's one of the lightweight frame ones. And it's probably a high impact frame for the
Dead Orbit or New Monarchy one.
Dead Orbit.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think the New Monarchy one's a high impact frame, if I want to say.
Yeah, that looks like it has the body of the old school Lyudmila. I want to say that's what it was called.
The old Haka ones, yeah. Which decent enough. If whether or not those are going to be good pulses kind of depend on what's going to happen in the sandbox update a month from now, whereas scouts all around are pretty solid, but I'm fine with all 3 of them as long as I get what is the Dead Orbit hand cannon? What is that thing called?
It's not the old fashioned.
It's the same model as the old fashioned. Dire Promise. That's it right there. As long as I can finally get that on PC, because that's the one weapon I haven't been able to get. I don't care which team wins. Yeah, that's what my Dire Promise.
Yeah.
Cool hand cannon.
It, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But yeah, those are weapons. You guys have a preference for any of these?
For the primaries? Honestly, probably either the New Monarchy Pulse or the Future War Cult Scout. The Dead Orbit is just like a Lincoln Green archetype, so I mean I think that archetype is actually really good on PC.
Yeah,
I've gotten melted by that thing quite a lot. But yeah, I mean the Future War Cult Scout looks like it's kind of like a nameless midnight archetype. So more of that would be nice.
Yeah, the fast-firing pulse rifles are capable of being super good. On PC, they're better than they are on console because there's naturally differences between recoil patterns. Because on console, they have a really wacky recoil pattern. I think I did a video on, I think I did a review of a pulse rifle that's in that class. Basically, if you're a hunter and you've got 2 kinetic counterbalance mods, you can make it perfectly viable. It turns the recoil straight vertical rather than being like almost at a 90-degree angle.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, the recoil pattern's super crazy. And if you're in console, double kinetic counterbalance mod's really going to help you out there. But on PC, they're pretty good. They're not bad at all. I've definitely been melted by a couple of pulse rifles, at least in like mid-range on PC, from people who get bored of using hand cannons.
Those mods are great for the vigilance wing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I love that thing, and I still don't have one on PC.
Really?
Yeah, hasn't dropped for me yet. I'm sure he has, but I am probably like only 2 months into playing Destiny on PC.
PC, yeah. He might not have sold it by now. He sells a lot of Merciless.
Yeah,
it's usually that.
I needed that, so I got that.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and like I said, in a month we're getting a sandbox update, which might up in the way all of these weapons work, so we have no idea what's going to happen there. We know that they're looking at pulse rifles. They talked about that before. And I think we've even spoken about it here on the show. The most I can imagine them doing to pulse rifles is changing the way damage fall-off works so that they're better at range. Yeah. That would really help a lot of the like mid and high impact pulses in the game right now. There need to be other changes like recoil changes, but just a general range boost would be pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. It's really needed. Yeah. But speaking of sandbox changes, speaking of what else did they mention? The TWAB, something about exotics.
Did we hear from somebody this week? Somebody who might have something to do with sandbox?
I think it goes by, what's Josh? Is it? I can't remember his
Josh Wise Booski? Something.
Oh my God, you guys!
Yeah, we heard from the news this week, or at least last week. Josh Hamrick was in a week or so ago, and then this week we got John Wisniewski, the senior designer over there at Bungie, to talk a bit about exotic tuning. We are getting an exotic update pass where they're going to be focusing just on exotic weapons and the changes that are coming therein. And we got to hear a little bit about their philosophy and one very specific weapon that is going to be seeing some pretty big buffs coming forward, and it make me happy to look at. Let's go ahead and dive on into this. Here's what John had to say. Hello players, I'm here to talk to you about the work going into the exotic tuning pass on the Destiny 2 roadmap. When Destiny first launched, we built, play-tested, and shipped a batch of exotic weapons that we hoped would be worthy of your time and hype. Shortly after release, we were happily inundated with a mountain of player feedback. And if I can just take a step back in time, do you remember the first month of Destiny 1?
I don't want to talk about it.
What a beautiful time.
Nope.
Why is this auto rifle dealing 56 to the head? It was wonderful. Suros.
Good times.
Wait, Vex Mytho what? What?
That thing is so dumb.
Yeah. Pocket Infinity does what? It fires how long?
Full auto what?
It was what a beautiful. It was the Wild West of Destiny, and it was glorious. I love Destiny Year One. So good, so fun. But this allowed us to check our assumptions, do some tuning, and push out one of the first Destiny Sandbox updates, which were solely focused on exotic weapons. That came shortly after Destiny 1 released. And it was the very famous update where they nerfed Suros the first time, before they nerfed it 2 more times in later months. They buffed the Thorn. I think they gave it like a faster reload and a little bit more damage and whatnot. Turned it into the monster of a gun. You remember for all of Year 1 of Destiny.
The infamous
more ammo
Thorn.
too. Because
they gave more ammo.
5 or 6 in the.
And yeah, they bumped it up to like 9. I want to say, right?
Yeah.
Still my favorite weapon in the history of Destiny. Thorn, you're my baby, and I don't care who knows it. I don't care.
Everybody knows it.
Thorn, you're my Crimson Doubles partner. That's all I would need in Destiny 2. Just my
original partner,
my beautiful baby Thorn. But we're doing this again with Destiny 2, and this time we're including exotic weapons and armor, because that didn't see a change back in that update pass in D1. Here are their gameplay goals for this pass. They're going to be doing a tuning pass on exotic gear focused on adding and/or increasing player power spikes. Those are those hero moments we know and love that they've spoken about before. They want to focus on low usage items, but all items are being considered for change. So low usage items, stuff like the Graviton Lance, maybe the that shotgun Nim keeps trying to convince me is good.
One. I'm trying to remember.
Now he's got to think about it.
Shotgun.
You did a review on it. It's spoopy. It only works like 50% of the time.
The tractor cannon?
Yeah!
Oh.
That thing. I would consider that a low usage exotic. And they're going to lean into an item's established gameplay and push it harder, avoiding catch-all improvements that dilute them, or that dilute item identity. Now, that's fancy talk for we're not going to be doing an overarching nerf of all weapon classes because of exotics. At least that's how I read it, which is good, because that famously destroyed hand cannons in Destiny 1. The famous Thorn and Last Word nerf that killed all your legendary hand cannons for a while.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, how does this play out? We can look at Graviton Lance as an example. The functional concept is a weapon that fires 2 Cosmic Void rounds that create a 0 air resistance tunnel for a high caliber precision shot to fire through. The first 2 rounds have almost no recoil and prime the air, and the third round does high damage with no damage fall off. A kill knocks the body back with considerable force. It tumbles and then explodes. That's when you kill enemies and they kind of float back and...
Which looks hilarious because they just shoot back and they just bounce all over the place. It's pretty.
They're going to be changing that because it's kind of hard to aim that in PvP.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it's neat to look at in PvE. In PvP, it's absolutely useless.
not very functional. It doesn't really do anything other than, you know, just leave you out in the open for a kill while you're watching somebody fly back and ragdoll. Oh, you made me lose my place. Here we go. Resounding player feedback has been along the lines of, this looks great, sounds great, has a neat explosion, but I can't get kills in PvP because all the damage is at the end of the burst. It kicks too hard for the follow-up, and I can't reliably damage targets with the death explosion in any activity because the body goes flying too far backwards. Like Nim just said, that's the exact problem with the Graviton Lance right now. It's all spectacle and not enough utility. So here's what they're going to do about it. To target the first pain point, we've reduced the recoil of the burst, added some aim assist, and changed it from 3 rounds to 2. That generally, if I'm reading it right, means that it's going to be seeing a damage per shot increase, which is, yes. This still plays into the fantasy of a low damage gravity neutralizing round forming a projectile tunnel for the last bullet. It also allows us to ensure the damage per burst is at a competitive level for PvP engagements. In fact, it gives Graviton a slight mathematical edge against other pulse rifles. Good, because I would say it needed all the help it could get.
Yep. No, agreed, for sure.
I'm looking at their wording at the mathematical edge against other pulse rifle, and that just it reminds me of I can't remember exactly what weapon it was, but there's a weapon that was being used a lot in D1, and on the numbers, Bungie said that the numbers like showed otherwise, but it was in game it was just something that people were still using, and I can't remember what
I think it was Mida, because I remember something around that. It was Destiny 1, and I think it was around the time people were complaining about high caliber rounds, like Mida is everywhere and it's so annoying. And then like Wisniewski, it might have been either in a weekly update or on Crucible Radio, where he came and talked about it, like, yeah, we've got the damage numbers, it's actually not anywhere near as widespread as everybody thinks. But I thought the exact same thing when I read about these buffs to the Graviton Lance, and overall I think it's good. You know, they're changing the way the weapon bursts. It's activating its effect earlier, and rather than shooting targets back now when you get a kill, it's just kind of gonna leave them there, let them float up a little bit, and hopefully you'll actually be able to destroy something with that explosive effect, rather than just watch it and be like, ooh, pretty.
So just to be clear, they're changing it now. It's instead of a 3 burst, it's a 2 burst, isn't it? If we're reading this right, I mean, they kind of word this weirdly. They say
what I understood. They changed it from 3 rounds to 2. That's what they said.
Okay.
When talking specifically about the burst, so it sounds like they're changing it from a 3 burster to a 2 burster, which is really interesting and probably means like I said, just to even things out, a damage per shot increase. Yeah. Which would be really interesting, because I don't think we've had any other pulse rifles that kind of act like that throughout D2.
No.
Have we?
Not at all. And I think, I believe MTash said this, is that Graviton Lance in its current state, you have to treat it like a scout rifle.
Yeah.
And changing it to a 2 burst now seems like more so, because I don't know if they're they're going to change the fire rate of the weapon itself, but it seems like it would be, you know, a little bit more like a scout oriented now with the 2 burst.
Which would be cool. That would definitely give it a specific niche among pulse rifles, and so long as its damage output was adequate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being a viable option. But
yeah, and I think conceptually, too, Graviton Lance is probably one of the most unique exotics, so it will really be nice to, you know, be able to use it effectively.
So other than sending the target slowly, making them float backwards slowly, what else is the new exotic perk doing?
Well, on the second feedback item, they did some tuning to the ragdoll body. They made it so that rather than violently flying back, this is just talking about the explosion at the end, rather than violently flying backwards and likely out of range of a potential splash damage opportunity, the defeated opponent flies back and up. So this just explaining what Nim was talking about. It's going to float up rather than flying back. Did they add anything else to it?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
All right, so they further on saying that then we made the explosion bigger, increased the damage,
double yay,
and added some void field projectiles that seek out any remaining targets.
Triple yay.
You get.
I like explosions. I like when they're bigger.
You get a grenade that shoots out little baby Exian darts. That's what I'm hearing.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically gave it, they turned it into Cataclysm, which is cool. I want a gun with Cataclysm Nova Bomb. That's pretty dope.
That'd be great.
Yeah, you know, and just having bigger explosions, bigger, more effective explosions, it's already cool because, like Moon said, it's a cool looking weapon, and it just got this awesome new ornament in Crimson Doubles.
I love the new ornament.
That new ornament looks so dope, and like, it's a shame that the gun in its current state just isn't really worth pulling out. Yeah. I feel like I'm just outing Blessius on all kinds of things. He had a great video go up this week after the TWAB where he was like, oh man, Graviton Lance is getting a buff. Let's go out and play with it. And oh my gosh, Bless, I love you, brother. That was so painful. I felt your pain playing with the Graviton Lance there. Just getting schmeated on by better devils everywhere. Just schmeated all over. I feel you, man. You're my brother.
Oh man!
But that sounds like an amazing buff for this otherwise kind of underwhelming weapon.
Yeah, it sounds pretty great. And I remember, I think it was John, a couple weeks back. He tweeted that internally they're in their play testing. They're seeing some crazy gunfights between the Skyburner's Oath and the Graviton Lance. So we have yet to see what they're gonna do with the Skyburners.
Which I'm super happy he specifically mentioned Skyburners, because that's like another exotic that before Destiny 2 came out, when I read about the Skyburners, I was like, oh, that's gonna be like OP. It's basically like a raid exotic. It deals more damage to a specific enemy type. It's got a decent rate of fire when you hip fire it. It slows down and gets stronger when you ADS, and it shoots through phalanx shields. This is gonna be like the #1 exotic in the game. Well, consider this with me with egg on my face. I was wrong, Guardians. It's a little underwhelming, and I'm really glad that they mentioned that, because hopefully it means that the Skyburners is going to be getting a pretty big change behind the scenes as well that maybe we'll be learning about in the upcoming weeks. It gives me hope, man. Hope for the tractor cannon. Like, I think, Nim, it might have been you. You or Mega, who a couple of months ago, when we were talking about what we would possibly do to make the tractor cannon a little bit better, it might have been you who said, like, maybe give it something that has the ability to pull enemies in before it blasts them off or something like that.
I think that might have been Mega.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that might have been.
That would be amazing if you could suck
Wasn't
enemies
Mega
in.
talking about using the tractor cannon with the Syntheseps?
Yeah,
it might have been that. Yeah, it might have been that. It's a great idea, and it's like the more I thought about that, the more I was like, this could be an absolutely fantastic gimmick weapon if they just tweaked it a little bit so that it actually worked most of the time.
that'd be pretty great. Either pulling people in or being able to charge the blast so it has a longer reach.
That would be great if you could Mega Man style charge that thing so that it actually hit people when you fired it.
It'll consume your ammo in the clip, so it'll take 2 bullets to use, but it'll charge the tractor cannon, and you get more range on it. Because the range is kind of low. I know it's supposed to be a super up close and personal weapon, but that'd be neat to be able to charge it and just have a little bit more at the cost of ammo.
Yeah, and I mean, it's right now it just feels inconsistent with the way its range works. Sometimes I've played around with it, and sometimes you get those absolutely fantastic montage-worthy gimmick kills where, like, you just hop above a door when somebody comes in and they, like, go jumping, and you just tractor cannon them into the ground, or you catch somebody floating across a corner and you tractor cannon them off into the sunset and just get a little wave like.
Oh, I've done that.
Your planet needs you.
Booping so Titans off the edge mid-fist of havoc.
It's great.
Just watching them Mm-hmm.
And I'd love it if it was more consistent, and I hope they're figuring out something behind the scenes to make it more consistent. Because the lesser exotics in this game definitely need a buff. I don't think the best ones in the game really need too much of a nerf. Just bring everything up to like a certain level. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I do believe they say something about that later on in this TWAB. Something I never thought I'd hear John Wisniewski say. This is one of the more exaggerated examples, talking about the Graviton Lance, to help describe how we're looking at our goals and applying them to the gear. At the time of this writing, the weapons that are not getting an update are the Merciless, Telesto, Wardcliff Coil, Mida Multitool, Colony, Legend of Acrius, and Vigilance Wing. Some of the above perform well without needing changes, while others, like the Vigilance Wing Pulse Rifle, are already benefiting from the tuning changes planned for Update 1.1.4, which is coming out towards the end of March. At least that's when it's scheduled. Everything else has had some degree of power or utility increase, whether it's simply bumping a stat or some deeper plumbing as described above. That I found to be the most important and exciting paragraph in This Week at Bungie, because what they basically said there, we're not nerfing any of the best exotics in the game.
Yeah.
Merciless.
I get to keep my spiders.
You get to keep your spiders. Colony, the Legend, Wardcliff Coil. They're not touching those at all. Instead, what they're doing is they're bringing the other underperforming exotics up to those levels, hopefully. And that was amazing for me to read, because it's exactly the kind of thing I've wanted to hear from the Bungie Sandbox team for so long. There's been such a long history of what I would consider to be power dip throughout the history of Destiny, starting really towards the Taken King, where rather than buffing other underperforming exotics and just other weapon types up to match the top performing stuff, rather than bringing everything up to hand cannons levels, they nerf hand cannons down to everything else, and then, now in that economy, scout rifles are a little too strong. Nerf those down. Now Doctrine of Passion is, Dr. Passion is just killing people a little bit too
Dr.
fast.
Passion.
As Moon's eyes just gloss over. Dr. Passion. Nope, it's killing people a little too fast. Rather than bringing everything up to that level, nerf auto rifles. And that's kind of been their mantra moving for a while. So hearing this right now, that they're not going to be nerfing any of the best performing things in the game, that is exactly the kind of thing I want to hear for this next month when they're talking about sandbox changes. That is, I don't know if I've ever... If I've ever seen a This Week at Bungie from John Wisniewski where they talked about sandbox changes and he only mentioned buffs, no nerfs.
That's pretty great.
Thanks, Noosk. I appreciate it, dog. And that makes me excited, because stuff like Merciless, stuff like Wardcliff Coil, those already work great.
Yeah, those are fantastic. And those are among the few exotics in the game that feel exotic. So it's, like you said, it's fantastic that they're not touching those, because those are great. It's all of the other ones that, they do need some kind of touch up. And
I gotta say, before we learned about this kind of stuff, I really expected, at least when it comes to exotics, I really expected a Legend of Acrius nerf.
Yeah, like a range nerf or something.
Out of all the exotics in the game, that was the one I thought that was going to get hit immediately. The Datto Nut Cannon definitely needs a range nerf. I thought that was absolutely on the way. And technically, I guess it still could happen if they tune shotgun range on the whole. But the fact that he just went out of his way to mention that those best performing things aren't getting touched, so good to hear. Yeah. So good to hear. And I really hope that's the way they're... The chat, IB Sneaky says, making exotics exotic? What are they thinking? What is this, 2013 Bungie? Yeah, I hope so. Please. But I don't know. That was the sentence in this that made me super duper happy.
Yeah, it's super exciting to see it, and I can't wait for the 27th to get here. I want to go fast and be powerful with my weapons.
The gotta go fast update. It's on its way, and there's a lot to look forward to, I think that there's a lot that they could do here, that they could really land to make Destiny 2 a more appealing game right now, and buffing all that kind of stuff, especially since they're going to be doing stuff with exotic armor too, which we haven't heard about yet. Hopefully we hear about that in the coming weeks as we lead into the March 27th update. But yeah, more of this. This is the kind of stuff I like to hear, and I'd definitely like more of that from old Bungie moving forward.
Forever that, please.
Forever this. This is what we want.
Yeah, Wisniewski, this was great. This is exactly what I want to hear. And hopefully next week they're going to be talking about, since this week we had exotic talk. Next week maybe they'll talk about exotic armor or wider sandbox changes on the whole. I'd love to hear what they're going to be doing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Any exotics you guys would personally like to see changed?
I'm sure there's a few. I mean, from the get-go, probably the Skyburner's Oath for one.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that exotic. It actually doesn't perform too bad in the Crucibles, just as long as you kind of like pace your shots.
Yeah.
Because it does.
Or hipfire.
Yeah, hipfire is really accurate. It's really, really accurate. That's really fun. But I don't know, like the current exotics that feel exotic are the ones that I've tend to stuck with and played with a lot. So it's kind of hard for me to like really consider another one because I don't really use them. So I'm gonna wait and see what they're gonna do with them because Fighting Lion is definitely gonna be something that they're working on. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with the Sturm.
That is probably one of the most forgotten exotics in Destiny 2.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones I just don't remember.
Yeah, because I noticed in their Instagram page that they had a screenshot with your favorite exotic weapons and gear are about to get more powerful, and you had a Titan with Mask of the Quiet One.
That's one.
You had a Warlock holding the Sturm. There was, I think one of them was holding the Fighting Lion. So. I'm excited to see what they're doing with everything else. I can't wait.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, you just kind of named the one exotic I would say is definitely in need of a change. Sturm, because its exotic is basically use this with a sidearm.
Yeah.
I want Crimson to not suck. Like
me too.
Any capacity, please. I love Tex Mechanica so much, like aesthetically, and just but. Please, Bungie, let me use this gun and have fun with it.
Now that you mentioned Tex Mechanica, Prospector.
There's another one that's forgotten.
That's a pretty grenade launcher, and I want it to be good because I want to use it more often.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I still say with Fighting Lion, and man, I should hit up Cammy Cakes and see if he agrees here. I still say a quick buff to that, although it might make it a little too powerful, is just give it proximity detonations. I think if it had proximity detonations, Fighting Lion would be so much better than it is right now, because it's not strong enough to one shot. It's that weapon that you're supposed to pepper people with and then switch to something or melee. And
like Junkrat's gun from Overwatch.
Basically, you just run up, slap somebody, or have a teammate hit them. And the reason why it's just so inconsistent right now is because it's so hard to land that detonation on people, because it's one of those bouncy kind of grenades. It's like, why? Just make it proximity detonation. just do that. It's better. Ugh. Yeah. I can't really think of any other exotics besides that, though. Crimson and Sturm.
I'm excited for Vigilance Wing to be better with the sandbox update. Hopefully. Hopefully. I would like to use that in PvP more. Yes, Nem?
Darcy.
Darcy!
Darcy.
Don't make that face. Snipers in general.
I forgot. Yeah, snipers are completely forgotten in D2. So hopefully they do something good with the Darcy. One thing that caught my attention in that is there was no mention of the Prometheus lens in the weapons that they're not touching, considering they just recently brought that weapon up again. So are they doing something else to it? That and Coldheart, because Coldheart is not on there either. And I think Coldheart is a pretty good weapon. They're its own unique archetype of exotics, weapons in general, and they have their niche in Destiny. I mean, you can take a team of like 4 people into Crucible with Coldheart and just have the time of your life.
It's great.
No range fall off on that thing, and it's a great weapon to use in the race. So the fact that you know, they're not mentioned in the weapons that they're not touching. It makes me curious, you know, what are they going to do with it, or if it's just going to be like one of those like things where they're just going to adjust like the numbers or stats and stuff like that. But
yeah,
somebody else in chat just said Risk Runner too, which I agree with completely. I would like to see that.
Risk Runner is interesting because that thing really only feels exotic when you're getting attacked. That's when it acts like the Zalo Supercell. Other than that, it's just kind of like whatever.
I was gonna say, you know, with Risk Runner, it's such a weird exotic because you're right. Its effect activates when you're taking damage, when you're experiencing risk. But when you are, it turns into Thunderlord, infinite ammo Thunderlord,
and it has to be arc damage. It can't just be. So it's like, in order to really you get the most out of it, you have to play the Inverted Spire and stand in the Vex Milk at the very last stage of the boss if you want infinite ammo.
Or play Crimson Doubles. Everybody's throwing skip nades anyway. Just drop a rift.
And pulse nades.
Yeah, and pulse nades. Just drop a rift, pull out your Risk Runner, wait for your enemy team to walk around the corner. It's like you made a mistake. Risk Runner is super good in Crimson Dubs right now. Enjoy it before that game goes away. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's certainly room for improvement with a lot of different weapons out there. We really don't know how exactly they're going to be changing, especially with the sandbox updates. Like, yeah, what are the pulse rifle changes going to do to something like Vigilance Wing? I think that with a range buff, Vigilance Wing would be absolutely a top performing gun. It's one of the
already pretty good.
It's really good in PvP. Yeah, absolutely. Really that thing hits super duper hard.
And like we mentioned earlier on, hunters benefit the most out of that gun.
Yeah.
Like to heal your friends or move faster or whatnot. It's
Has anybody used the Aeon, Swift, Soul, and whatever?
Oh, the Aeon Cult stuff. Yeah. Never once touched it.
Never once. I mean, I think this would probably be the game mode to use them because you get your abilities a lot quicker, and every time you use it, you're going to synergize with your teammates, and they'll get their stuff even faster.
I've used them in PvE in tandem with my fire team, which it's actually pretty interesting, but never in any other.
Are we doing some Crimson Doubles moon tomorrow? Is that
yeah, I think we should do that.
I think we will.
Real smooth, Nim.
I think we should maybe do that here, huh?
Yeah. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, well, I have a challenge for you. Wear the Aeon nonsense and use Risk Runner.
Sure.
Ooh,
I want at least one game with nothing but Risk Runner. Whether you're getting hit with arc nades or not, it doesn't matter. You have to use it.
Absolutely.
I'm down. Bring
it. It's good though, because like Risk Runner's ability is it restores ammo as you're taking damage and like gets infinite range, right? I want to say. That's super good.
What is it else? It does something else, doesn't it? Like it gives you
here.
I've to the magazine.
I pulled up Dim real quick. It's got Arc Conductor. When taking arc damage, this weapon becomes more powerful and resists incoming arc damage. Kills extend the time in this overcharged state. And then it's got Superconductor. When the Arc Conductor is active, shots fired have the chance to become chain lightning and return ammo. Perfect for Crimson Doubles. If you're somebody who's getting real sick of that Shinobu's Vow nonsense, stand next to your teammate, be like, "Hey man, watch this." Risk Runner. Just become Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. Come on, do it! Come on! It's good. That's how you solve that problem. Good enough.
Amazing.
God, yeah.
But all right, is there anything else you guys want to talk about in relation to the sandbox changes?
I need it. I want it.
Yeah.
I want it yesterday. No.
Yeah, I kind of want it now. And hopefully we'll be learning more about that in the coming weeks. But I think this first look into specific weapon changes it's looking pretty good. I'm really happy to hear about the Graviton Lance changes. Like I said several times before, I'm most excited to hear that they're not nerfing any of the top performing exotics right now. It's probably the biggest thing. And I can't wait to hear more from the Sandbox team. I like it. Good stuff.
Yeah. And hopefully that Nightfall Strike unique rewards does make it into the 27th update, because being able to to like get new gear through the, like, I don't know if this is just, I mean, it looks like it's just Nightfall Strike specific, but it will give me an incentive to like hit up the Nightfall, because I really don't do them.
Yeah. There's no reason to right now. There's no like really special rewards.
If you're 330, there's no real reason to hop into the Nightfall unless there's an exotic you haven't gotten your hands on and you're just trying for exotic stuff. And even then, you just go to Sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Reasons to play the game. We like them.
They haven't mentioned. They mentioned very slightly the aura. The auras are tied to emblems. Is that what's happening with that?
Yes, really? There's going to be some sort of challenge with it where if you get like a high score, if you beat a certain high score, you'll unlock an aura for an emblem or something like that, which is cool. It's giving you an incentive to play Nightfall multiple times. And like there's certain auras and emblems that are tied to specific strikes. That's freaking cool. That's the kind of thing I like to see. Like I think the example they gave was like the inverted spire strike is going to have its own emblem and whatnot and aura tied to it. Now if only, this is a small complaint, but if only the auras were a little bit better than just the little weird halo. A little bit more
epic, than just the little...
They're a halo, they're not even an aura.
I prefer the head being on fire. I very much prefer that.
The entire face.
When I hear aura, I thought it was going to be like an effect of how the original Crimson Doubles... Because that's an aura. Mm-hmm. That was an aura.
Oh my gosh. That'd be so freaking cool if, like...
Right.
And even if they were to do something like they tie it to Nightfalls only. Like, in Nightfalls, you'll now have this Super Saiyan aura because you've mastered this strike. You've beaten the global high score that they set for the inverted spire. So anytime you're in to be fair, they're doing, like, certain buffs. If you've gotten certain accolades, anytime you're running that strike, your fire team members are going to get like bonus tokens or something at the end, which is cool. But I would love it if you could have like the old Crimson Double Super Saiyan aura for completing these sorts of challenges. Bring me that, please.
Yeah.
Like,
no, they
hand it over.
They can definitely do it. Like imagine like, for like the inverted spire, like, like the highest aura you can get. It's like you have like that Vex, like, kind of construct digital effect around you. Like there's a lot of possibilities in that they can do. So one of my favorite things that I remember reading from one of those challenges is that when everybody dies, you get booted back to orbit.
Oh yeah, that's one of the modifiers that's coming back.
Classic Nightfall, dude. That was.
You Guardians don't know nothing about that.
That was the good times. That's when like soloing a Nightfall felt amazing.
Oh my gosh, I can remember the streams of doing that and the sweaty Nightfall runs trying not to get sent back to orbit. Oof.
My first soloed Nightfall was Fogoth, and of course super cheesed the boss with Vision of Confluence and Icebreaker on Solar Burn.
You were sitting in the back room, huh?
Sitting in the back room, and with the Shrieker occasionally popping up. It's like, oh nope, gotta step back a little bit. I don't want to get touched. But dude, more of that.
Yeah,
man. More challenging PvE content.
Yeah, and just speaking of the Nightfall modifiers, we're also getting a more Destiny 1 style burn coming back, an Elemental Singe. It's basically the same buff that you get from the class item with the Leviathan or the raid armor mods. You get a 25% increase to matching elemental damage, both the damage that you're putting out and the damage that you're taking.
Yeah.
You asked for classic burn, it's back, baby.
It's coming.
Don't go crazy jumping in front of that ogre. You're gonna get slapped on that void singe. Yeah, I'm super psyched for the Nightfall scoring and the Nightfall changes coming. I kind of wish it was coming this week rather than next week. But I guess I can go another 7 or so days.
Hey, just another week of monster hunting, baby.
Yeah, just another week on Monster Hunter.
You're not gonna run out of things to do in that game anytime soon, for sure.
Ain't nothing but a thing. Yeah, so and I like this because there's actually something to look forward to in Destiny 2, which is a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for these changes and what they're going to bring to the game and what it's going to mean for Destiny 2 moving forward. I think Bungie's been through a rough patch, but like they say, they're listening. I really hope they are.
Well, judging by these development, updates,
it looks good.
It's looking good so far.
But all right, what do you say we move on to some questions for a little bit before we wrap things up?
Yes, give us your questions.
I saw in chat they really like that Super Saiyan aura idea. It kind of brings to mind sort of the same thing with ornaments in Destiny 2, where it's like they're fine, but then you look at like the Age of Triumph ornaments, and it's like that. My head lit on fire with the Wrath of the Machine ornament in Destiny 1. Can we get some of that in D2 rather than just, changing the paint?
Yeah, and I mean, I can see why those ornaments were a little bit more extreme, and because it was raid ornaments.
And it was the end of the game,
Yeah,
so they kind of pulled out all the stops.
Yeah, and I think I think they are holding back on some of that stuff, because there's no way they go from that amazing design work to like what we have right now. They're definitely holding something back, because I mean the Prestige Leviathan gear looks good, and it has cool, that glowy purple bits to it. So I'm hopeful for, because I mean they are also holding back, when this was weird, they're holding back the Eater of Worlds Prestige all the way to May.
To basically the DLC drop.
Yeah, to the new DLC drop. Like, that's insane. So that means they're either revamping the gear that drops from that raid, like, entirely, because, I mean, I don't understand why it's taking so long, because normally it launches, like, a month after.
It was supposed to launch in, like, January, yeah.
Yeah. It's not coming out till... We're basically... So does that mean we're getting two... we're getting a new raid layer, and we're getting the updated raid layer like within the same like window of launch for DLC 2, which is like
maybe.
But maybe here's hoping.
Yeah. I thought it was I definitely thought it was interesting that they didn't mention a release date for the next raid layer until like we got that roadmap, and it was like in May. Oh, something's going on there. Good, I guess if they're taking time to work on things, good. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so question in chat by Alpha KFA. What top 3 D1 maps would you bring back, and why?
I would say Burning Shrine, but they already brought it back. Thank you, Bungie. That was my favorite map in D1. Probably the Cauldron would be my second one.
Yeah,
that's one of mine. Yeah.
Rusted Lands.
That was one of mine.
That's a good one.
And Pantheon.
That's
Pantheon. Interesting.
There you go.
Good. I'm glad we agree on a lot of these things. Burning Shrine was definitely my first choice. It's one of my favorite maps from Destiny 1, and I'm so glad it's back in Destiny 2. And by the way, great PR move, Bungie, by making it the Trials map. I knew it was coming because it's a fun map to play on. It's easy PR money. So good job. Good job on that one. Great map.
But getting those nostalgia feels there.
You know what? If you gotta use up your nostalgia to build up your goodwill, do it. I love Destiny 1, so I love seeing Destiny 1 things in Destiny 2. But outside of that and Rusted Lands, I would say, you already said Cauldron. That was one of my favorite close range maps. The Anomaly. I really liked the Anomaly as just
no.
I'm a year one crazy shotgun rushing, thorn abusing, last word loving madman. So Anomaly was great for me, and I would love to see that come back.
Oh man, I know unpopular opinion, and this would probably not work at all in D2, but I love First Light.
Oh yeah,
I don't mind First Light.
Yes. I love that's
well, if you want to talk about big maps, I'd love Skyshock back. I love Skyshock.
Oh, if we could freaking get if we could get combined arms in this game, yeah, I would love that. I would love Skyshock back or First Light. First Light was one of the first maps I played in Destiny 1 during the beta, and I loved it. I thought that map was gorgeous.
First Light was the first map that I ever played a Crucible match on ever.
It was great map. Also, can we have the moon back? We kind of retook it mostly. Can I go there, please? Cool stuff, yeah. Got another one?
Let's see.
Yeah, do you have any other questions?
Let me scroll up through chat here and see what we got.
Double's got kind of a systemic one. New to Destiny 2, played a bit of Destiny, barely any. How much time would it take to complete the main story in Curse of Osiris? I want to get into the good PvP, It actually doesn't take that long. For the main story of Destiny, it's probably going to be like, since this is your first time, maybe 7 to 8 hours. It'll be faster on subsequent playthroughs. Like, you'll go from that 6 to 7 to 8 hour time frame to like 2 to 3, or maybe even faster if you speed run things. Curse of Osiris, the first time you're going through that, it's about 3, maybe 4 hours of story content. And then after that, it's like an hour for your secondary characters rushing through. So it's not going to take too long. It's like maybe a day or two of grinding before you'll really get through all of the story. But don't push yourself too fast. Enjoy it, you know? I thought the story of Destiny 2 was pretty enjoyable, especially if you're a newer player to the Destiny community and you don't have Destiny 1 to compare it to. You're probably going to enjoy Destiny 2 more than some of the old veteran heads here. But yeah,
long shot.
It won't take you too long. Yo, Joey, Miss Combined Arms. I love that game mode.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for sure.
One of my fondest memories is playing Combined Arms against Goth and just being a horrible person to him in his team in an interceptor. Nobody on his team wanted to get in the interceptor, so I just sat with a sight line on the spawn.
Yeah, that's the way you win.
Just
Combined Arms.
Sorry, Goth. Sorry, Goth. I'm sorry, Goth, because he kept trying to
some
direct
vehicular
them.
manslaughter.
He tried to direct them to the interceptor, and nobody wanted to get in it. So I'm sorry, Goth.
But hold this L. Let's see. Speaking of that, why do you guys think we aren't seeing much Hive in D2?
Because we'll be seeing them in November.
Because people, we had a lot of Hive content in D1. We had Dark Below and then Taken King, which was a major expansion. So people are like sick and tired of it, and I'm nuts. But I'm right there with you. I'm still waiting.
They smell really bad, like day-old shrimp that's been sitting in the sun. They smell terrible. I don't want them back.
That Hive Husk Musk.
Ugh.
Oh, God,
the worst Old Spice smell.
Why did you say that? Oh,
that's TBL.
That's gonna haunt me.
It's a long-running joke.
Yeah,
still smells as bad as the day as we wrote it. But yeah, probably this fall when I think it's actually been confirmed they are working on a big expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically knew they were, but I think during the Activision earnings call, they went ahead and revealed, they've got a big expansion coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, probably going to be Hive based. So you'll see your smelly Thrall back before you know it.
Smelly gear. Need it. Let's see. J Steve in chat says, do you think they should bring back artifacts in a cool way, something to hunt? Absolutely, dude. Well,
think so?
Yeah, oh yeah. I know like most of the artifacts in D1 probably weren't used a lot, but they're the fun ones, like the melee an enemy and be able have it work for you for like 30 seconds. Yeah. Or deflect rocket launchers with a sword or Nova bombs for that matter. Dude, like those were a lot of fun.
There were a couple of cool moments with the reflection one where it's like a Nova bomb, bink, enjoy that.
Yeah.
But
I remember specifically this one time this Titan came at me with hammers, and I just redirected his hammer right back at him and just instantly wiped him out. Like, buddy, I'm so sorry.
I thought they added pretty interesting effects. I figured with Destiny 2, mods were the replacement for those.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember Scories.
We don't talk about Scories in this house.
Especially with the hand holding that goes on in Destiny 2. Oh my goodness, Scories.
I think probably out of the artifacts, the most used was the Scories one and the one that let you that took away
sword ammo
sprint lock.
Oh yeah, Yolders took away the sprint lock. That one, the one that gives you extra sword ammo. Everybody used that for
like Gellions, the one that gave you third eye.
Oh yep,
that's pretty helpful too.
Radar. Mm-hmm.
Poor Knucklehead Radar. Just thrown out the window. Yeah, you know what? I could actually see if they could make it so that mods, like armor mods or something, do that. I would love it. That would give me a reason to actually pay attention to the mod system. But or artifacts could come back. They could just erase that aura section of your character menu, because I don't know why you have to equip auras and whatnot, and just replace that with artifacts.
Yeah,
they had cool effects. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Replay says, do you think the mobility changes will bring back Titan skating and Warlock surfing?
I hope so.
Maybe not in the same way, but
something similar.
Yeah, most likely what Moon said. Most likely not in the same way, but I'm hoping that it's going to be in the same way because they've already mentioned that they're noticing that people liked to use certain aspects of the game as like tools. Ways. Yeah, exactly. So one of the biggest complaints just in D2 is just you feel super sluggish. It's just super sluggish. So I'm hoping that they reverted back to their D1 values, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, same here. I don't know if we'll ever get back to the point where we can have people like Ninja with Noel skating around a PvP map and never touching the ground. I don't know if it'll ever get back to that point, but they have mentioned that they wanna make the game a bit faster. And so I hope it means the return of Warlock Serfs and at least some facet of Titan skating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to move as a warlock. I know I keep saying this, but please.
Yeah.
I don't just want to have cement shoes all the time.
Yeah, seriously.
Feels real bad.
Feels real bad.
Super bad.
Real bad.
I remember when I first got my hands on the I want to say it was one of the betas. I was playing through the story mode or the first mission and I was on stream and as soon as I used the burst glide and it felt so slow, my reaction was just like no.
Ugh.
No.
No.
Oh no.
No.
I can't floof.
Yeah, definitely felt weird. And I still instinctively just do the tap boost whenever I'm moving around as a warlock. And I know it doesn't make me any faster, but it's so deeply ingrained from my time in Destiny 1 of just making that the movement speed and running things as quickly as possible. It just it feels super sluggish, like you're a turtle in molasses, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, me and Nem played D1 last week, and as soon as I got on my warlock, I was like, holy shit, I can do stuff and I can control my vertical space. And,
it feels good.
Oh, it feels so good. I want to feel good again as far as mobility goes.
So here's hoping.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
One more from Blackthorn77. Do you all feel like a fourth subclass is plausible?
Absolutely.
100% yes.
I really don't see a reason why not.
Yeah.
What that element would be.
Yeah.
It could be an element that's brought on by, a new race or something like that. Who knows? The mystery fifth race, those triangular ships.
Space Doritos.
I love
Space
the Space
Doritos.
Doritos.
Space Doritos.
Space Doritos a lot.
They're coming.
That's pretty great.
They're bringing that new element.
Yeah. Hoping.
Even if it's darkness.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be sick. Want it.
Yeah.
Need it.
Have a darkness. I mean, I know we've got Void, and that's supposed to be kind of dark, but give me the darkness.
Somebody in the chat said poison, like Thorn. That
Poison.
would be, that'd be cool.
There were some pretty big, theories that we would get a fourth subclass back during the days of D1, and it would be like decay, like nuclear decay and whatnot, and stuff like that, based around stuff like Thorn, causing dots and managing stuff like that. But it really could be anything, especially with Destiny 3 being worked on. I can't imagine we're not going to get something different in Destiny 3.
Yeah. No.
3 games of the same elements? Probably not. Maybe not. I hope not.
It's so weird thinking that D3 is already under development. We're not even a year into D2.
I don't like it. I was not a fan.
Like it.
I said the same thing on Twitter and I got blasted about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that I was like the rumor I specifically said rumor has it that D3 is already under development. That's cool and all, but could we fix D2 first, please?
Yeah.
And dude, I got so many people being like, that's not how game development works, man. They're under a contract. I'm like, I know. I just want
it.
Just want this to
the
be
heart
better.
wants what it wants.
I just
the heart wants what it wants. Yeah. I mean, they are contractually obligated to start work on that next title. I think a lot of the team is working on the big expansion, and a lot of the team is working on Destiny 3 right now. I would absolutely prefer for them to focus on Destiny 2, get this game that they got out 6 or so months ago into a better spot before they start working on the follow-up. But yeah, I understand. That's just not the way this business generally works.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Exactly.
So it's okay. Send that hate my way. I can take it then. All day.
It's just like, oh my god.
Just Steve says no D3 pre-orders. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But all right, I think that's a good enough stopping place for episode 153 of this show. Thank you all so much for joining us after our brief hiatus last week. We are back. We've got some big things coming up. We've got Faction Rally. We've got Nightfall Strike Scoring coming up in a week or so. We hope you guys are finding a reason to play and a reason to enjoy Destiny 2. We're certainly looking forward to the things that are coming forward. But right now, we're out. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to episode 153 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Before we get on out of here, two things. One, if you're watching us live, head to the Destiny directory, figure out who we're rating. We want your suggestions. Post it in the chat. We'll raid them after we wrap things up here. Two, you can find us. We don't just make content for this channel. So, yeah. Miss Moonvald, who are you? What do you do? Where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Moonvald. I stream occasionally. And you can also find me at twitter.com/Moonvald for my hot takes.
Hot takes.
Don't really
the
have
hottest.
Yeah.
That good late night stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, Mr. Nim Plays. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Yeah, dude, it's always fun being here with you guys. For me, same thing. You guys can find me either here on the PD channel, streaming Destiny and maybe some other stuff in the future.
Ooh.
And on my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/NemPlays. Variety of games over in that section, which has been very sporadic lately, but
do your thing, man.
Yeah. And if you guys are in chat, all of the links are in the chat. So
yeah, I see we added Nightbot commands. Excellent. That makes it so much easier to get this stuff out. So go follow all those people. And of course, you don't need to follow me. I'm just some guy who actually talks into a microphone. Don't worry about it. My name is The Black Link, though. If you'd like to see the weird stuff I post, you can find me everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. There are links in the chat there. But all right, that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 153. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.